Morning. Thank you all for being here. Really today this morning focusing on the issue of crime and the issue of the essentialness of having a safe state and safe cities. As mayor of San Diego, I understood how incredibly important that was. That every Californian, no matter where you live, deserves to feel safe and to be safe. And we have to have a governor that is going to make safe neighborhoods in a safe state a priority. That is in contrast with what we have seen from Gavin Newsom, who has continued to support legislation that makes our cities unsafe, continued to take actions like allowing the early release of parole of violent felons in the tens of thousands. A governor who enabled the defund the police movement throughout California. As mayor of San Diego, I did not defund the police. I stood up for safe neighborhoods, and in fact, we increased the budget by 7%. Why? Because if we want safe neighborhoods, we better darn well have the best men and women who wear that badge, give them the tools, the resources, and the training to be successful. I will be a governor that will put victims first and criminals in jail, and take a strong stand to reversing the trend that we have seen, unfortunately, in our great state, where crime is at a 13-year high. Murders are up 30%. And the fact that, as we were here in this great city of San Francisco, and we have seen retailers like Walgreens close down their stores because of rising crime. It's rampant. We need to put a stop to it. We need to have a governor that says the status quo isn't working for us. And to see what's happening with not only quality of life crimes, but particularly the issue of drug use. These tent encampments that have become open-air drug markets. I did not allow tent encampments on the sidewalk in San Diego. Why? Because we care about people. We care about people enough not to let them live and die on our sidewalks. I'm going to take that exact same approach as governor, to give people the help and the support they need, to help them break that cycle of addiction and know how important it is to intervene. We are going to intervene and make a difference in California. That's a stark contrast also to one of the other candidates in this race, Larry Elder, who has recently said that he will support the legalization of some of the most dangerous drugs in California. Imagine if you legalized heroin and methamphetamine, what that would do in terms of homelessness. It would cause a dramatic spike all across California, not to mention all of the families that are suffering from the issues of addiction. That's why it's time for a governor with common sense. A governor who knows that if we don't have a safe state, as I said, we don't have anything. And a governor that's going to stand up for victims, a governor that's going to stand up for our small businesses who are suffering because of these laws that Gavin Newsom has continued to support, that makes it easier to commit crime with no consequences. That's not who we are as Californians. And it's time to have a governor that's going to stand up, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or Independent, and do the right thing and keep our state safe. We have to reduce this trend of rising crime. I will do that as governor. I will stand up to give our state, our cities, our counties the leadership and the support they need that says it's not okay to see what we're seeing in terms of the violent spike of crime in California. I'm very proud to be joined by two individuals today. I'm going to introduce first and foremost Dr. Christy Brown of Mom Strong here, who's been a very tireless advocate, particularly for the issues of drugs and addiction, who understands how incredibly important it is to take a stand, to make a difference, to intervene, and to not allow what we're seeing on too many of the sidewalks in too many cities in our great state of California. Christy, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Can you hear me? Okay. The organization I belong to, Mom Strong, is a nonpartisan organization, but I personally am a Democrat. And when I look at what Gavin Newsom has not done regarding the issue of homelessness, overdoses, and crime in our state of California, I'm really embarrassed about it. I'm embarrassed for our state. I'm a native Californian. I never thought that we would see this situation. Drug addiction is a nonpartisan issue. Nobody should be promoting drug use in our society, and it is behind a lot of the problems that we're facing right now. So, NIDA director Nora Volko said, we don't have an overdose problem, we have an addiction problem. And my son was an injecting heroin user, so I know all about addiction and the damage it causes. And when somebody like Larry Elder says we can just legalize drugs and that's going to be a good thing, I really, make pause. So when I looked at all the candidates running in the recall, I thought, Gavin Newsom is not going to do anything about this. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't particularly talked about it. And he has the wrong approach. But when I looked at the plans that Mayor Kevin Faulconer has and the fact that he has experience, I really felt that he was the best candidate to solve these issues. And I think the press should be more cognizant of the fact that there are not just two people in this race. There is a really good alternative in Kevin Faulconer for Democrats or Independents or Republicans. So I strongly support him. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you, and thank you for everything you're doing in your organization. Next up, I'd like to introduce Asher McInerney, who's a small business owner here in San Francisco, who can speak firsthand, unfortunately, to what happens when you allow rising crime and what that does to our quality of life, to our residences and our small business owners in California.
My name's Asher McInerney, and I'm here today to speak about Gavin Newsom's failed policies and how they've turned San Francisco into an anarchy. I live right up the street with my wife and 9-year-old son. On any given day, we could expect to see Walgreens, Real Food, Trader Joe's, or any other small businesses being burglarized. The homeless who live in our neighborhoods defecating on local businesses, in the parks, dealers lurking by the dozens on every corner, open-air drug markets, tents littering our streets and alleys with folks living in bubonic plague conditions. This needs to stop now. With Kevin Faulconer's leadership, this will stop. With Gavin Newsom, we're getting nothing but failed promises and more crime. We need somebody who's tough on crime. For civic society to function, we need a government that enforces laws so businesses can prosper. With the leadership of Kevin Faulconer, we will get new leadership. We will get help for those in need. Sleeping on the streets, we will get rehab for them. Sleeping on the streets is totally inhumane and it needs to end. We need to stop the surge in crime and the overflow of drugs onto our streets and community. It is harming our children, it is harming our society, and it needs to stop now. Take a stand, vote in the recall, vote for Faulconer.
Thank you, Asher. Thank you, Asher. As always, thank you for your passion. Again, I believe that this is common sense. It's not a Democrat or Republican issue. It's about doing the right things in our cities. It's about having a governor that's going to take the lead in ensuring safe neighborhoods and ensuring that we end open-air drug markets in these tent encampments, who's going to stand up to ensure that there's consequences for actions. If we don't have a safe state, we don't have anything. I'm looking forward to this recall election, to working with everybody to bring our state together and to give everyone the help and the support that they need and that they deserve. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody might have. One-on-one's fine too. Thank you, guys. One-on-one. Thank you, Asher.